Every perfume belongs to a family, and the more you better understand these families, the more you'll be able to find your home. Hello, Internet. My name is Kamagelo B. Chadi, and welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. I hope you stay all the way to the end, and I hope you pick up something or two today and share the information that you have as well. So when we talk about perfume families, we are referring to the categories or the groups that perfumes are typically classified into based on their dominant scent. So originally there were 4 families that were established, and then those sort of merged or gave birth to all the different subfamilies and other categories that we have today. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to touch on those first 4. So first, we have the fresh family. So these are the energizers. They're chosen for their versatility and the ability to just uplift your mood. They are clean, they are sparkly, just fresh and light. Within this family, we have the citrus, which would be your bergamots, your limes, your lemons, your sweet oranges, and so forth. These are the zesty, bright, and energizing notes that you would normally get when you first spray a fragrance. And then you have your green subfamily, which is sort of leafy and evokes that feeling of being in nature. Just reminds you of that space. So you have things like your oak mosses, your galburnums, pines, and so forth. And then you have the aquatic or the marine family. So these are things that will sort of remind you of the ocean or like a breeze, those light, watery type of scents. And within that you have like different types of melons, you have different types of flowers like your water lily, so those aquatic flowers in there, and things like cucumber. And then you have your aromatic subfamily, which is fresh, herbaceous, a bit spicy, but more of your cool spices. Within this family, you would have your lavenders, your rosemaries, your sages, so anything that is just fresh and cool. So typically this family is not meant for longevity. These are light, just refreshing type of scents, but yeah, they just to, brighten up or freshen you up and make you just feel like energized, as the family name suggests. A lot of the time they are unisex. They are more for like your spring, summer seasons, day wear preferably. So that's where you would pick up or put on those type of fragrances. If the brief or the idea is to have it light, there will be a lot of these notes that you get or that are used in your fragrance. And then you have your floral family. So these are the romantics, and they tap into exploring femininity, just sensualness, just that light delicateness sometimes. So these are more feminine leaning, although male leaning perfumes use florals, but the idea around the floral family is just exploring that feminine side of things, just being expressive and just that romantic side of the perfume. So in terms of your subfamilies, you have your soliflor. I hope I'm saying it right. I assumed soliflor means one flower, but it actually is a spotlighting on one flower. So a lot of the soliflor fragrances that I checked out, I expected one flower, but I think they use that flower and add additional florals within it that will sort of put emphasis on that flower that they spotlight. But the idea is that when you're wearing it, you are getting a sense of that star of the show. And then you have your floral bouquet, and I think as the name suggests, you think of bouquet, it has different flowers. So that's the sense of that family or that subfamily, that you're playing around with different flowers and you're kind of making someone feel like they are sniffing a bouquet, or they're in a garden just surrounded by flowers that are blooming. It's just multiple flowers that are being used in the fragrance. And then you have your green florals. So this is just your flower with maybe additional green notes like the stem or the leaf. So I guess this gives a more vivid garden feeling of it, because you have your greenery and you have your actual flower petals. So things like your violet leaf would come into this family. And then lastly, you have your fruity floral or floral fruity. So the idea here is just to have a combination of florals and fruitiness. So a lot of the time with this subfamily, you'll have perfumes that are sort of combining the beauty of having fruits and florals together. Another point to this, or another way of playing around this, is using florals that have fruity nuances in your perfume, like your ylang ylang. I've heard it has banana nuances. There's osmanthus, which has like a peachy type or apricot type nuances to it. Depending on how you layer it or how it is composed, you get a bit of the fruitiness of the flower as well. Cool. And then you have your Oriental or Amber family. So this is the powerhouse. This is luxury, opulence, royalty. That's this family. So as I said, it just encompasses this rich and luxurious vibe. It comes with warm and sweet nuances to it. It's mysterious. Could be a little bit spicy as well. There are different ways that Orientals can be done. It could be soft Oriental, where it's a bit powdery, a bit warm, a bit sweet, with your irises and your vanillas, just on the lighter side of things. It could be a spicy Oriental, where you have combinations of spices along with like your amber. So you have your cinnamons, your nutmegs, cloves, along with those ambery, vanilla-y notes as well. And then you could have like your woody type of Oriental, which is a bit deep and smoky. It has a bit of patchouli, so it has some woods in it, you know, sandalwood, what's the cedars, with all that amber and resins as well. Your ouds, your myrrhs, your incense, all together, just to create this warm and woody, smoky scent profile. So those are your Orientals, and I think the base ingredients within that family would be your resins, you know, your ambers, the benzoins, vanillas, and a bit of spiciness as well, depending on how you want to play it out. And then the last family I want to touch on is the woody family. So these are the grounded. These are the anchors. They can be subtle, they can be very loud as well. So I won't touch on a lot, but the different variations that you could have is your dry woods, which is a bit like smoky and leathery. Thinking of your vetifers, the leather notes, which has that like dry smokiness. Or it could be like an aromatic woody, which mixes together some spices as well. Or floral woody, a combination of florals as well to fantasize or create like a fantastical type of profile to it. I'm thinking fantasy, I'm thinking fairy tales, you know, she's the princess is in the woods, there's like blooming flowers and just that whole aroma in the air. Those are the main 4 families that were classified or put down, but there's a whole lot more. And you know, just a few honorable mentions because they are popular would be your fruity family or your fruity grouping, which also has different variations depending on how you want your scent to be. So it could be, I'm not going to touch on the citrus because that's under your fresh, touched on that, but you could have your tropical leaning perfumes, which has now your coconuts, your mangoes, your pineapples, and it just evokes that feeling of being in like a tropical beach, you know, sipping on cocktails and just vacationing and forgetting about responsibilities. Yeah, and if you want something like sexy and sensual, you could go for you know, things like your plums and your peaches, so your fruits with pits or stone fruits. Those are normally done in a way that convey or give that mysterious, attractive, sensual vibe to them. Yeah, so depending on how you are leaning, you know, different fruits are utilized. And then you have the Gourmand, which are your edibles. Ooh, not in that way, like things that you consume. Things that you consume. So a lot of the times these are like vanilla type perfumes, coffee, baked goodies. So basically you wear the perfume and it reminds you of food. It feels like, you know, you want to eat something. So there's different ways that the Gourmand has been done, or I've experienced it in my limited collection, where it feels like you are sniffing, you know, the actual food, or that you are wearing the actual food, or you're like hiding it on your person. Like you're smuggling food. So there's that photorealistic Gourmand that they do, and then there's other ones that are like, it has nuances of it, so it feels a bit more wearable, and I prefer that type. I'm not a Gourmand person, like, but I'm comfortable with the nuances when it's Gourmand, but I don't feel like I'm hiding food on myself, basically. And then another one that comes up quite a lot when you start looking into families is a Fougère, which is more the green family. So apparently the word is French for fern, so that already gives you an idea of what this family is. It's fresh, it's green, a lot of the time it's unisex and slightly woody as well. In this family you'll have your oak mosses, your rosemary, your sages, you know, all those fresh green and slightly woody type of notes. And then lastly you'll have your Chypre. For the longest time I struggled to, like, I would Google the definition of this family, but it did not stick until I realized that it's more of a structure than anything else. So with Chypre fragrances, they have a common top note and a common base. So the original was, citrusy top note and a woody oak mossy base. Well, let me say earthy base, and that became the structure of the Chypre family. And there's different variations. So in the heart, they'll add your florals as well, but different people do it in a different way. But once you have that structure, then you have a Chypre. So you have very bright and sparkling beginning that settles into like an earthy, grounded base. And yeah, that's basically what it is. And then I think since then I'm like, okay, cool, I kind of get it. I kind of get what this family or this sub-family is all about. So as I mentioned, it's very hard to find a perfume today that stays in one family. So these perfumes sort of like touch, and it's like a blended family situation that's happening. You have like your floral gourmands, you have your woody florals or fruity florals, so there's just a whole intermingling of these fragrances or these families that we experience. I guess a way of figuring out which family or which profile you prefer is to just keep a pattern or note down what you like, note down what you currently have in your collection right now, or even if it's not a collection, but what perfumes do you have, what do they smell like, what do they fall under, do you enjoy wearing that? And that gives you an idea of actually where in the fragrance wheel you fall. I know personally I'm not, like I said, I'm not a photorealistic gourmand type of person, but once you mix it with your florals and it kind of becomes wearable, then I'm okay with that. I'm also not like a fruity person. They tend to be too sweet for me, but then if you mix it with the other families, and it becomes, I think, the other profiles cut down on the sweetness of the fruit, and then it becomes a bit more wearable for me. So yeah, take a look at what you have in your collection, what do you enjoy wearing, and that gives you an idea of what kind of person you are and what family you fall under. And then going forward, you know that, okay, if you want to buy perfumes, then where do you look, type of thing. And I think if you are looking to explore, like expand, which is something I'm trying to do, then from that place where you fall under or where you're comfortable with, you can use the fragrance wheel and sort of see. So what the fragrance wheel does is it lists all the families, side by side, almost like leaning into each other. They're like adjacent to each other. And as you explore a little bit outside of the family of that family that you enjoy, you get to see if does that direction work for you. Cool. So now that you have a high level idea of what these families and these perfume families or groupings are about, which one do you tend to find yourself in? What do you enjoy wearing? Let me know what you like. Let me know what you want to try. And yeah, let's have that conversation in the comments below.